My essential message. Can you tell me?
Oh, sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you.
Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos.
Los chicharrones.
Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo.
Mi vecina era CDR en Cuba.
Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chacleteras sin llames con corbata.
Aquí yo vendo hot dog, pero en Cuba yo era médico.
Le saco el dedo y digo Q.
Sweet home Hialeah. Solo 30 minutos de Le Fallo. Oh, sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you.
Let me unmute Alex there. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second edition of East 10th Street Boys NBA Draft Recap Day 2 in the books. And the Miami Heat have made their picks. As we know, Kel'el, Ware, center out of Indiana, is the pick yesterday, the 15th overall pick. And today, at the 41st overall pick, they get Pelle Larsson, wing out of Arizona. 12.8 points a game, 42.6 3-point percentage, 4 rebounds, 4 assists per game. Alex, you are traveling from Penn State. So before we get on to these picks and our undrafted free agents, how was the campus visit? Oh, never mind. Of course, as soon as the show starts, he is off. We'll wait for him to pop back in. But anyway, there he is. Hold on, let's get him back in here. This happens when you're live and you just want to jump on and talk about this. And as he's getting ready, let me just say, first off, about these picks. Obviously, Pelle Larsson, I love this signing for Miami, this draft pick. Both of these players, and I'm going to tell you, at least 3 out of 4 of the players taken this in these past 2 days. I'm talking about the undrafted free agents as well. That goes for Keshad Johnson. These are guys that can contribute right away. There's Alex. There he is.
Yeah.
What's up, Captain? Thank you for watching.
So,
let's see. Maybe turn off your Wi-Fi. See if that works, Alex. Alex is staticky there for a minute. We'll let him work on that. He was just fine. We were talking a minute ago, all clear. It's funny. As soon as you go live, you start to get some technical difficulties. We'll wait. We'll be here. You sound like Darth Vader. Let's see. Hold on. Is your mic muted now? Why is that? Let's see. All right, talk. Let's test it now. You there?
Hello.
There you go. There
we go. We just got off to put gas, and like the moment we got off, I started talking, and you just started getting blurred on my screen. I'm like, oh man, come on! You're asking me a question. I'm gonna respond. I'm ready to respond. It's like, fuck. So, what's the response? What's the question? My bad.
Well, first off, I was going to ask you about the university visit, but we'll just hold that. Let's talk about Pelle Larsson. This pick at 44. You know, you and I talked earlier today. Obviously, we had a couple favorites. Tyler Smith was one for you. Obviously, we were wondering about Kyle Filipowski, who ended up going to Utah. He came off the board, I think, with the second pick in the second round. But one of the names I brought up to you as we got closer to our pick was Keshad Johnson. He was on my list. Obviously, the Heat did not get him at that point. They got his Arizona teammate in Pelle Larsson. What do you think about that pick at 44 for Miami?
Well, first of all, he has a James Bond villain name, so that's super cool. He's a sharpshooter. He's very comparable athletically to Jaime Jaquez, So that is, you can breed, and he's also 23 when he gets drafted. Jaime was 21, right? Jaime was 21, 22. So like you see the comparisons where he's a plug and play right now. He's a hell of a shooter, pure shooter. He's athletic. He's actually a superb defender. I was seeing some of his tape. He's a really good all ball defender, great rebounder, and he has a knack. He has also court vision. His game is built very similar to Jaime. And honestly, this is part of those situations where you're also thinking of the future. But right now, he can step into a spot if you move Duncan Robinson. If Duncan Robinson gets hurt, for sure he's a rotational piece the moment he steps on the court.
No, absolutely, and that's what I was saying about these. At least 3 out of the 4 players that Miami have signed so
Yeah.
far, or obviously been signed during this draft, was
Mm-hmm.
which is Kel'el Ware, Pelle Larsson, Kashad Johnson, Zion Pullen, 2 undrafted free agents. I believe 3 out of 4 of these guys are probably contributing day one, at least on the court, rotational players. And it's I think again, Kashad Johnson, the forward out of Arizona, 6'6", 224.
Yeah.
I think he could have been the pick at 44 for Miami. And I think that
Correct.
it was between those 2 guys. And when they saw that Pelle Larsson was still there, we all said it. Everybody's saying it, that the Heat need a wing player. They need a guard. They need a wing. They go get Pelle Larsson. Then they turn
Yeah.
around and then they wait it
Yeah.
out. They see, okay, Kashad is still there. We're gonna get him. Because when I saw Kashad earlier, just to talk about him very quick, I saw a Heat player. And
Uh-huh.
I texted you.
For
We
sure.
talked about it. You're like, hey, dude, they love him. He's a 3-and-D guy. They bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love that they went and got Pelle Larsson, who again, as you're stating, this guy could be a rotational piece, just like Jaime was right away. He's going to give you
Yes.
some viable minutes right away on the floor. Obviously 13 points a game, 43% from three. That could that you're not pushing him in any kind of starter role to ask him for anything more. But when he comes
No.
in on those rotational minutes, you're gonna get some solid minutes out of the guy, and he's an older rookie. So that's another good thing. And then to turn around, you don't trade back up into the draft, and then you come away with Kashad Johnson. Talk to me about this guy, because when I texted you, we talked as you were doing your college tour with your daughter, and of course, instead of
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful, you're like, yeah, man, no, Kashad Johnson. So tell me what you
Yeah.
tell them, tell the people who are watching what you had to say about Kashad Johnson, and how you feel about this guy's an undrafted free agent signing a 2-way deal with Miami.
Oh, if you have another player that screams out Heat culture, is Keshawn Johnson. Like the way he plays the game, you kind of see the whole situation with Caleb Martin, Highsmith, and he's a hybrid, honestly, between them two. He's more physical or stronger than Caleb Martin. I'm not gonna say he's as super athletic as Caleb, but he can jump. He can get up there. Defensively, he's solid, and he's just a solid build. And his shooting has improved every year. So when shooting improves at a considerable rate every year, what it is committed to working, and he's coachable. So that translates now to the NBA, and you're looking possibly at the replacement in the rotation of Martin and of Highsmith. I love Hayward Highsmith, and I think that if it's right, he will take the Heat, and the money should be right. But if it doesn't, what I am still comfortable with who we drafted, because now we expedited this process. Usually, a player like that, we have signed, developed. You got Larsson already in the Jaime role of last year. So he possibly is coming off the bench with Jaime, with Ware. So you have 3 rookies that are potential rotational pieces right off the bat. You can't beat, and we have an eye for talent. And these become, and to me, what stuck out the most, Bobby, is the same thing that we talked about last year.
Nope, there he goes. We figured that would probably there he is. He's gonna pop himself back in here. And we'll wait on that as he gets in here. But let me just talk about Kashad Johnson, and we'll go back to Carol Larsson in just a minute as we wait for Alex. Let's see if he is back. There he is. Alex, can you hear us? Hello. All right, so let's wait for him to figure his stuff out. But let's say Keshad Johnson, man, again, one of our two-way deals, Miami undrafted free agent, 6'6", 224, 11.5 points last season, 39% from three, 6 rebounds, averaged 2 assists a game. This is what Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer had to say about him. He's a bulky forward who can fill in the gaps on offense while providing upside as a defensive stopper. Shades of Jay Crowder. Yeah, as we all know, a Miami Heat favorite. Versatile on-ball defender with a huge frame and a long wingspan that he uses to battle scorers. He's also literally quick enough to contain smaller players. An intelligent off-ball defender who's an effective deterrent in help situations at the rim or when digging into drivers at lanes. There's more there. Of course, that's at theringer.com for Keshad Johnson. You know, he's a power forward, but he can defend every position. What he reminds me of, obviously, Kevin O'Connor says he has some shades of Jay Crowder, which makes sense, a smaller forward at the 4. But when I started looking more, it looked like I don't want to say, I think he's a better offensive threat, but kind of remind me a little bit of maybe a poorer man's Draymond Green, who I always thought would be a good fit with the Heat. Let's get Alex back in here and let's see if Alex can hear us.
Yeah, I can
Alex,
hear
you there?
Can you hear me? I'm there. Can you hear me?
You, man. We hear. Yes.
Perfect.
You're good.
Thank
For
you.
now.
I got another bad reception error.
For now, bro. Should have waited till we're in the hotel.
Hurry up.
No.
Ask quickly. I'll respond quickly.
But no, and we'll talk about Highsmith very quick in regards to Keshad Johnson. There are reports that the Heat and Highsmith are in negotiations. This gives him a little bit of leverage. But I think this also helps with the possible replacement of a Caleb Martin, who more than likely is going to be out the door. Yeah, so finish what you were saying about the Highsmith and how Keshad could possibly take over that role.
Oh, yeah. Well, for example, you draft a 22, 23-year-old player, you sign a unrestricted free agent at that age. He's already developed, and he's played substantial minutes at the collegiate level, at a decent conference as well. So Larsson can step right in. He could be your shooting guard off the bench with Jaime as your small forward. And it all comes down to then if you retain DeLon Wright. Obviously, there's still moves to be made. Ideally, still, the way the roster is constructed, unless there's moves, Miami will probably go with a Rozier hero backcourt, Butler, Jovic, and Bam. Bring Ware off the bench at the beginning. His role might change and might continue to grow in season. And even how I'm always big on, and I tell a lot of people, it's not about who you start, it's how you start. Is a combination of lineups you run out there. There are going to be combos of lineups, whereas Ware and Jovic and Bam and Butler, and you may have Larsson, you may have Jaime. So you have what the biggest thing that I saw now is that they're going and they're adapting and they're drafting sizable functionality at every guard. So they're not going for the 6'1" point guard. Even the other unrestricted free agent that they signed, the undrafted free agent, the point guard from Florida, 6'4", 210. So that's a big point guard. Zion Pulling. Sorry. Like those are things that now you see where the NBA is going, where it's sizable functionality. So we no longer want a 6'3" shooting guard. We got a 6'6" shooting guard, 6'7" shooting guard, built. Like that's where the NBA is going. They're physical. And to me, the chip that all of these players have is that they're very defensive oriented as well. They're defense first at times. They're natural scorers in the aspect of a Larsson. He's a sharpshooter, has a beautiful stroke, but they're defensive minded. And that's why it fits the Heat culture. And that's why they continue that you can just literally plug and play right now. And the way teams are being built, New York did a masterclass this draft. The way they kept trading back and back and filling out their roster, Utah to me had one of the best drafts this year. They were able to address a lot of positions. So the way these teams are focusing now, it's a lot of second-round picks. It's a lot of undrafted free agents that they're going to develop, because if you want to operate with 2 or 3 superstars, financially, you got to fill out your teams this way. So scoutings are going to improve. Developmental teams are going to improve. There's a lot of things that are changing, but I had it with, and I know there's still some undrafted free agents that we're going to sign, but I'm excited the role and the shape of this draft for Miami.
Absolutely. And as you were talking about, Zion Poulin, point guard out of Florida, that was the other two-way signing Miami's done immediately after the draft. Again, Kevin O'Connor has the numbers here for us. It's 15 and a half points per game last year, 45% from three, averaged 4 rebounds and 5 assists a game. Again, a bigger guard, 6'4", 210. He's 23 years old. Again, an older rookie. Reliable. He's a floor general, feel of the game, on-ball defense, pull-up threat, a game-managing point guard who runs a tight ship while providing, as Alex brought up, versatile defense. Reliable ball handler with one of the highest assist-to-turnover ratios in college basketball. He limits mistakes and always finds the open man, often putting great velocity on the ball. He shows excellent spatial awareness, finding ways to create angles for passing lanes. Again, you can see the rest of that on the Ringer, NBA draft.theringer.com. Great stuff by Kevin O'Connor on most of the draft prospects available. Again, another player picked that I absolutely or signed that I absolutely was excited about. Again, I can't complain at all about what Miami did after the draft. I will say though, they pulled a little ball on us, even though we're happy with Pelle Larsson and what Pelle Larsson could bring to the Heat. They drafted originally, I did not see the trade, but they drafted originally Nikolai Jurisic out of Serbia. And we've been touching on him for a while. And we were excited when we saw his name come up for the Heat. But then it was funny. I was texting Alex as he was doing his tour. And I was like, they drafted Nikolai. We got another Serbia kid. Let's go. And all of a sudden I look at the side and it says proposed trade to, I think, Atlanta. And I'm like, I went, wait. And Alex went, what? What happened? And I go, they traded him. So they traded Nikolai. Solid pick by the Atlanta Hawks. Nikolai Topic, I think, I heard may end up no, it was a Topic. It was Juan Nunez, another guy that I like, who will probably spend a year overseas before he comes out. But Jurisic, I think, will be a very good player for the Atlanta Hawks. Oh, now you look clear as hell.
Thanks, man. I'm back on the road now.
Yeah, you got that satellite signal. Anthony Manzano in the house. Alex, is there any international guys at guard specifically that you're looking at that you want money for Miami to go and sign as undrafted free agent? Is there anybody on your mind, Alex, that you would like Miami to go that's still available?
Man, I don't really know. I would have to sit down and go through the list one by one because they're still gonna pluck. They might pluck. You know what they're gonna do next? Possibly they might get another undrafted free agent big man. There's still a few out there. One of my things I know they depending on what happens with Wiseman in Detroit, they might take a look at him. If it's for security reasons, they probably bring back Orlando Robinson, but he might be let go obviously with the acquisition of Ware because you got Kevin Love either way as a security blanket. If he opts into his player option, which I'm pretty sure he will, and he still takes that mentor role. But I don't know. I would have to sit down in the list to see because even as we're speaking, they probably already signed like 3 more players for 10-day contracts or Exhibit 10 contracts because they're 2-way player. They're gonna hold that last 2-way player for someone that stands out probably in summer league or like we mentioned, an undrafted big man. Because they already guaranteed the 2-way contracts to those players because due to the talent level, the place they had them on their big board. If you don't offer those guys 2-way contracts as undrafted players, they're not going to sign with you because another team will offer them 2-way contracts. So the moment you do that, you already know that's bye-bye Jamal Cain. That is bye-bye probably Cole Swider. That's for sure. I think they're going to let Martin walk. And it's a good possibility that they might let Highsmith walk if it's too much if the price is too high. You know, you don't want to handicap yourself unless it's a manageable deal because that's someone either way that you can move. But you also, if it gets a better opportunity, kind of like the Max Strus, you might be helpful in a sign and trade situation. So you never know.
Yeah, let me just say very quick, Pelle Larsson, the Heat have announced 8 minutes ago will wear number 9 for the Heat.
Okay.
So let me say this very quick because I guess it rolls with Anthony's latest comment though too.
Yes.
Because we all think about, we all have these picks and everybody's, said, oh, the Heat need to trade for this guy. They need to get this guy, but you need the draft picks to do it. The Heat go ahead and use these draft picks. They don't. They traded actually back one pick and they made their pick. And now they're saying this guy's going to wear this number. He's going to be this player. He's going to be on this team. So does that shut the door on a Donovan Mitchell deal? Does it make it more likely now that a Trae Young may be more possible? Because Anthony's not the only one now that says that they don't have a true point guard, because you need somebody who could get the ball to someone like a Ware or a these other guys. So what is it time to shut the door on a Donovan Mitchell after the Heat have used these picks, or is there still a road? Is there still a path to get to a Donovan Mitchell trade without having to include these picks?
I don't think now, do I think the way this team started, you don't need your point guard to start. You
yeah, Anthony. Internet monsters are getting Alex every time we. He's good as soon as until we ask. I get him a question, and also he still starts to mess up. We'll wait for him to clear back up there. Pop that again. But again, I trust what the Heat are going to be able to do to get these guys to develop. I think, and what Alex had said earlier yesterday as well, in regards of Kel'el Ware, I don't see him as a starter right away unless he just shows up during summer league and takes over. I love that pick though, you know that, but I think that it's not going to be like, oh, because we don't have that guard to lob the ball, maybe like a Chris Paul, who is possibly a possible trade bait, that we would be able to get someone who needs to get the ball. I trust the Heat. I trust what they're able to do and teach these guys. We'll see how that goes. I will say though, in regards of Keyshawn Johnson, Adam Simon says that Keyshawn Johnson was the Heat's highest rated undrafted player. Let's see. They said we were two players who were surprised they did not get drafted and felt wouldn't necessarily get them if they didn't. So the Heat love those picks, but we'll wait for Alex to see if he pops back in. But no, I don't think that's totally necessary. Again, we got to let the process play out. The draft just ended. There's still players to be signed. Free agency is around the corner. Trades still have to be made. Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, those type of players, they're not safe from not being traded. Again, a Trae Young is possible. A name that I'm going to throw out there. I'll have Alex pop back in here. Hopefully he sticks around. But internet sucks. I get it. He's on the road. As we'll wait to see. Looks like he's frozen, but that's okay. But a Chris Paul, who is supposedly with the Warriors might be traded. That's a veteran deal. But again, how much is he willing to take less amount? Do I think the Heat are all in on building a team that can win this season? Yes, absolutely. I believe they are, especially that Jimmy's on that contract year, and Jimmy's going to want to win because he's going to want to do it because he's going to want his money, but he's also going to want that ring until he bounces out. Wait for Alex here. The camera is acting up. Let's pop that off for a minute. And let's follow up with, I want to talk about some other things that happened throughout the draft. Like, Kyle Filipowski goes to the Utah Jazz. But the biggest shock, not really, of today's draft was that Bronny James taken by the Los Angeles Lakers. So we're going to have LeBron, I'm sure, will resign his contract, resign is to go back with the Lakers. But Bronny James now a Laker officially. So we'll have the first ever father-son duo in the NBA. Roj on ESPN saying, I don't want to hear the charges. People talking about nepotism. The NBA is full of nepotism. The ownership level, front office, coaching, I don't want to hear about it all of a sudden because Bronny James' father plays for the Lakers. It is rampant in this league. What I would say is I think Bronny James was worth a draft pick. I don't know if a team would have took him earlier than 50.
Por favor.
I think a team would have took him earlier than 55. Maybe. But the fact is, his agent said, and this was a second-round pick. This wasn't a first-round pick. It wasn't top 10. This wasn't number 1. This was a second-round pick dictating where he was going to go. And that's all power to you, you know. But dictated, like, don't draft me. I'm going to go play for Australia. Bob Myers brought up on ESPN's coverage. Pick 55 comes along. ESPN says this is the moment we've all been waiting for. The moment we've all been waiting for was Bronny James.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you. Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay, got the tablet. All right, we're good.
Okay.
Perfect, man. All right. So, what did you ask me? What was the last thing you heard from me? Or I'll let you finish. I just get interrupted. Sorry.
Well, I was talking about Bronny James and getting picked by the Lakers at 55. Bob Myers, before his pick, as he was getting closer, he was saying he didn't want to say it at first, and then he said as we got closer to the pick that Rich Paul was calling teams and telling them, do not pick Bronny James. He'll go play for Australia.
He's going to go to Australia. All right.
And then, of course, right when he gets picked, as the Lakers pick, they go, here's the moment we've all been waiting for. We're all here. I got goosebumps, Malika Andrews says. You know, Bronny James selected by the LA Lakers. We see they're all hugging and everything. And it's like they treated Bronny James as the number 1 overall pick. It is cool to see LeBron play with his son. It's going to happen. It's an awesome opportunity. I think Roj doesn't look too good though. Talking about the whole, it's not nepotism, whatever. I don't think people should really be throwing stones though. But it is obvious that LeBron James came into play here. The Lakers took, there's other players who are available that probably would have helped the Lakers a lot more. Not saying Bronny can't be something eventually.
Exactly.
That's the only difference.
Bronny's going to be a great combo guard in the NBA. Like, the problem is, no matter what Bronny James does, even if he names himself Bronny officially, or if he changes his last name, he's always going to be somehow, some way connected to his father. And now, especially that he plays for the Lakers. So, what Woj said is partially true. There is nepotism in the 100%. NBA at the coaching level, at the ownership level, and a lot of coaches, just because they're coaches' sons or owners, because they were sons of other owners, they don't go through the same process as another person, like an Eric Spoelstra. Lost him again. Can you hear me?
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
But okay.
I hear you, but you're breaking up. I'll mute you. You keep going. I'll mute you if you get mute. If you start
I'm good now.
Yeah, you're all right now.
All right, cool. Even Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra got the job. Eric Spoelstra played college basketball. He was gonna go play and coach overseas. He got the job here in Miami because obviously the connections because of his dad, John Spoelstra, which was an executive for the Portland Trail Blazers. So there's always connections. There's always some sort of nepotism in every job, every situation. But the problem is it's going to be magnified because, like you mentioned, doesn't take away from Bronny James. If LeBron James is not his father, Bronny James is still going to be a great combo guard in the NBA. He has LeBron's athleticism. He's a great defender at the point of attack. He's a great shooter also. And he's an avid listener, learner. He's very coachable. So he was going to play in the NBA. Now, was he going to be drafted 55 overall over some other players that were possibly there available? Probably not. But, I mean, who comes to know? It's a great story. The NBA is going to feed off it for sure. Now, it's going to be interesting in season where Bronny might go to the G League. You know, Bronny's going to play in the G League a few games. He might play at times, you know, and the problem is the optics of it. JJ Redick, now the head coach, had the podcast with LeBron. Now Bronny James gets drafted, and it's kind of like the untalked about subject is like how much control does Bron have, and LeBron likes to always play it off like, no, I'm not involved, but everyone knows that he's involved some way somehow. So those are things that it comes with the territory, but it is a beautiful story. First time in NBA history, father and son are going to play in the same for the same team, possibly at the same time. So and for sure, this guarantees LeBron's going to sign with the Lakers. Now it comes to terms of it. If it's going to be a 2-year deal or 3-year deal, because offensively you have to start shifting to revolve around Anthony Davis, or do you move Davis eventually and gain some more? Uh,
There he goes again. There he goes again. We'll wait for him to come back to us as he starts to break up. Minnesota. I was just looking at some draft classes, but Minnesota had a very solid draft. Terrence Shannon Jr., Bobby Klintman from Sweden. That was a guy that I had marked down for Miami today, but he went a little earlier. Bobby Clinton, man, that's a strong pick. New York Knicks, 4 picks in today's draft and this week's draft. Kashawn Johnson out of Miami, 6'7" guard. Pacome Didier out of France, another guard. Then you got the point guard, Ajay Mitchell, one of the guys I liked as well, and a Melvin Ajink out of France. So all guards, but these are all solid picks. The crazy thing about this draft class this season, this year, from even Bronny James to Keyshawn George to Zachary Rozier. Obviously, you knew some. You say, "Man, I prefer this guy over this guy," but not one pick. You could have said that guy should not have been the number 1 pick. And you could have made an argument anybody could have been the number 1 pick. It was just that type of draft this year. It was not a solid number 1. Obviously, again, you had preferences: Alex Sarr, Zachary Rozier, et cetera, et cetera. But again, any of these picks could end up being the best player in the draft. I was just talking about the New York Knicks draft class, that they had a strong draft. Nikolai Topic going to Oklahoma.
Yes, I'm here.
It's right there.
I got you.
Where is
Alex,
it?
I got you. That
we'll let him let him take care of that. How about Utah? Again, Alex said that earlier. It's true. Cody Williams out of Colorado, shooting guard. Isaiah Collier, Southern Cal, going there as well. And then Kyle Filipowski out of Duke going there in the second round, and the second pick with the second round. Huge draft for.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now again or no?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, there we go. Beautiful. What was the last thing you heard from me?
We need to send this video to Sprint.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This is a perfect commercial. You got to make a snippet out of this.
This is not a good look. No, just playing. Absolutely understandable. But anyway, but I was just talking about the stronger draft classes this season. I mean, this draft class, New York had a solid draft. Minnesota had a good one. Minnesota got stronger. They drafted Bobby Klinsmann, somebody I liked a lot in the second round. What is a team? Which team do you had a very good draft?
Well, I'll give the Spurs. I love the Castle pick. I thought that was a perfect pick for Wemby. I like the fact that they traded the 8th pick and they started picking up some assets. Like I sent you, I shared the article with you. The Spurs are gonna make a move. There's a reason that they did that move. They're gonna make a move. Also, Minnesota, I love what they're gonna do with Dillingham. And the underrated, I think the Jazz possibly had the overall best draft because they hit on every single one of their picks. And the Denver Nuggets, they picked Holmes. That is going to be huge next to the Joker, which possibly he could either be replacing Aaron Gordon in the long term, or they're moving Michael Porter Jr. But that pick was a little underrated, and like the strong just get stronger. And I feel that pick right there was kind of designed to beat Minnesota. and to fight against OKC and Chet Holmgren and all that. So and he can play alongside Joker very well.
I want to say this very quick. We're just talking about LeBron James. Clutch Points on Twitter is reporting the Lakers are reportedly ready to offer LeBron a 3-year, $162 million contract, which would keep him on the team through the 26-27 season. Bryce James is eligible to enter the NBA in 2026. Lakers just drafted Bronny. Imagine LeBron playing with the same team with not one but two of his sons. Unless the Lakers have the number 1 overall pick or the top 5 pick,
they better
no
tank because Bryce is going to be the number 1 overall pick when he declares.
Unless Rich Paul tells everybody don't draft him, let him fall.
Yeah, he's going to Australia.
Yeah, he's going to Australia. Gotta take that.
Honestly, now it would have been hilarious if the Celtics.
I thought the Celtics were going to do it.
What they do?
What's up, George? George of the Fins Pod, man. Yes,
man.
we do too.
That would have been funny. That would
have been great. That would have been great. I thought the Celtics were going to do it.
By the way, Celtics, the guy they drafted, last player in the first round.
Yes.
That is a perfect fit for them. That kid can ball, man. That kid can ball. I forgot his name right now. But he fits them like a glove.
Let's go to the Celtics very quick. No, yeah, we talked about it last night, man. Again, you know.
Yeah.
Baylor Schreierman out of Creighton.
Yes.
And then who did they get in the second round? Let me go.
He reminds me of Joe Ingles, bro.
There you go. They got Anton Watson out of Gonzaga, power forward in the second round. Antoine.
Okay, powerful. Yeah, that's a replacement piece there for. Look at Kristaps. Kristaps is gonna miss the first. That's what people don't realize how serious. What's concerning about Porzingis is his durability because he's had a lot of lower extremity injuries, and those start adding up as you get older.
I'm gonna say this: Detroit had a very good draft. Ron Holland with the 5th pick. Might have been a little early, but again, you can't argue that with any pick. It doesn't matter. This draft was not the draft. No. This draft was the draft to go. You want, you go get. Don't look at the number. Just get your guy. Cam Spencer was a guy that I loved going into the second round, and I was like, if this guy could be the guy, they got him out of UConn. Not Cam Spencer. I'm sorry, it was somebody else, but Cam was. Now I'll look at it. But Cam Spencer out of UConn is a solid pick. Who the hell drafted? Quentin Post went to Golden State. A big who could shoot threes. Mm-hmm. Not a good post player, but he goes to Golden State. Let's see here. Juan Nunez is a guy I talked about yesterday. He went to Indiana. They got Juan Nunez, Tristan Newton, Enrique Freeman, 3 guys I had on my list. But Juan Nunez might not play in the NBA next season. He might be going to stay in a year in Europe, I think I saw.
Oh, yeah? Did he get drafted? He got drafted by San Antonio. Or no?
Indiana.
No.
Oh, okay. No. Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Cameron Christie out of Minnesota is the guy I was talking about.
Oh, yes.
Cameron Christie is the guy that I was very excited about. I was like, dude, if I would love this to be the pick if it was one of the guys. He went to the Clippers. That was a solid pick.
Okay. Yeah, that was a great pick.
Zach Edey, Jalen Wells, Elric Camachi all going to Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go. What is it? Not this Sunday. Is this Sunday the legal tampering start? Is it this Sunday or is it
July? It should be July 1st or July. Did they push it back? Because I know July 6th is when officially you can start the new contracts. But I believe the league year. We can find it out. We could Google it now. The league year begins officially.
Let's see. Okay. From July 1st to July 6th is the basically
the legal tampering.
Yeah. And it is let me see here. Let me open this up. Let's take a look. All right.
Yeah, that's when all these trades become official.
June 30th, which June 30th, each NBA team may begin negotiating with all other upcoming free agents, beginning at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
All other upcoming. And then July 6th, each team may begin signing free agents to their contracts.
Correct.
So I guess on 6 p.m. on June 30th is the official tampering window.
Yeah. Miraculously, at 01, everybody's already agreed to a contract, and they all spoke within the first minute of free agency. Yeah,
that's
insane.
right. All of
It's
a
crazy.
sudden,
crazy.
But before we wrap it up, as long as I got you, I want to get what you were saying earlier, because Anthony bringing up about needing an actual point guard. You were trying to state your point before you fell off, and we were moving on. What was the response about the Heat needing an actual point guard for like someone like Ware and so forth?
Well, the way this team is constructed, and this is just based on my opinion, the way I see the synergy of this team, you do not need a traditional point guard where it's like a Kyle Lowry type player. We already saw that. It gets you in order. It gets you situated. But this team, difference in offensive philosophy is strengths. You got to let these guys. You don't want to have Ware there. And yes, when the Heat are known to do this, whenever they draft, especially a big man, they kind of not corner them or box them in, but they put them in a comfort zone so they can excel little by little, and then they work them like they did Bam. But Kel'el Ware is an actual structured shooter. He has the form, he has the release, he has a high release. So he's going to be, and he has good face to the basket moving. He can make plays. He can create at times. He's always going to be a lob threat. He's obviously going to be high pick and rolls, rolling to the basket, getting ready for lobs. But with Butler, with Jovic, with Hero, with Rozier, even with Bam, this team does not need a traditional point guard. I understand why people say you want the traditional combo, like you want the traditional point guard that just gets your team in order. We don't need John Stockton out there. Okay, like the way this team operates, they're going to start their offense. They're going to run their points with some of their tallest players, and you kind of I love that style of basketball where it's really positionless. Now, the court vision that even Larsson has, the court vision that Jaime Jaquez has, that Butler, that Jovic, that goes underrated, and to the untrained eye, a lot of people overlook that. A lot of people don't see that these players, not only are they versatile, they're athletic, but they actually have great court vision. And to be a point guard, to be an elite point guard, the number one thing you need to have is court vision. Everything else follows after that, So I think they'll be fine the way they are. Don't get me wrong. The offseason is still young. They still might swing a trade for Trae Young, for Donovan Mitchell. They're going to look, obviously, into... They're going to do due diligence, man. They're going to look, and you're going to start seeing the rumors now with Chicago about wanting to move Vucevic and Levine. The Heat's name is going to be involved, and they're interested. Heat are one of this top. It always happens. It's every cycle. So now it comes down to how true is it that Durant might be on the move? Because I don't think Phoenix is really going to move Durant, but the whole Jimmy situation where now he's going to play for 1 year guaranteed here, that dynamic changes a little bit too. That all depends. It all depends. But I generally think Jimmy's going to stick it out. We don't need a traditional point guard. They are going to move around. They will try to sign DeLon Wright for depth pieces. Josh Richardson will probably opt in. Almost 99% he will opt in into his PO. So you got Richardson coming back. So you got around 6 or 7 people that can handle the basketball and be your de facto point guard at times. You can have like a point guard committee, like a combo point guard committee. So I don't think we need a traditional point guard the way we're set up.
There you go. So guys, we're gonna wrap this up. We want to keep it a short episode. Of course, Alex is traveling. I got stuff going on over here, but we wanted to talk about it. Apologize for the technical difficulties, but that's just how it is when you're doing a live show on, just do a general reaction. But we'll be back for our normal episode of East 10th Street Boys. Just stay tuned on when that will be. If it's Sunday morning or whatever, we'll probably have more better Heat talk because we're going to get ready for free agency. Probably have our friend Rob Parks on and respond back to him, who covers the NBA as well. Talk about these Heat picks and if maybe what's going to happen in free agency. We'll let Alex get back to his road trip. I'll get back to my stuff. Kel'el, Ware, Pelle, Larsson, Rashad Johnson, Zion, Poulin, all now Miami Heat players, and that makes me feel a whole lot better and excited for this upcoming season. I'm going to tell the people that are not very happy with some of these picks, get over it. You're going to love these picks. I'm telling you. I feel it. I'm telling you. And I will say, they're 3-0. I'm just going to say that. Probably going to retire the final year.
That's it. That's it.
Got to go out on top.
We might not have a first round pick next year, so yeah, your 3-0 is safe for now.
For now,
have to wait another year.
I want them to trade that pick, get rid of that pick, do something. Oh well, it was OKC, but I'm safe for now. But anyway, no, it's too much fun, and I just love doing this. But everyone, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, and we will see you guys more than likely maybe Sunday. We'll see. But until then, see you all later.
Yeah, probably.